All right. So first topic, they kind of tie into one another, but so there's a lady that just got a Supreme Court justice. You might know her name.
No, but I know who you're talking about.
Nobody knows her name.
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah, that person. Um,
Yes, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson.
yeah, justice and judge. Yeah, whatever it is. How about the vice president? What's her name?
Kamala.
Hmm. Um, how about the first nigga they voted in the office? What's his name? I ain't laughing. This shit ain't funny.
Nigga Barry.
I don't know what I signed
Barry
up for.
Soetoro.
Hussein.
Real name.
Hussein. Hussein, right? Hussein
Don't
Obama.
Caucasianize that man's name.
Soetoro.
Do not Caucasianize that man's name.
So
that's his name.
You know, it's his name, Barack Hussein Obama.
No, I know. Somebody was calling him Barry.
That's what they named the movie, right? So my question is, I seen it was a Obama's fried chicken, right? When the justice just got nominated and got the seat, they had just us parties left and right. Shit, I even made a flyer for my party. What the hell? You might as well jump in. But like, I don't even know if anybody like knows their like her record, if they knew Kamala Harris's record, right? So my grammar for how I'm posing this question is pun intended is purposeful. So first question I have is, do all you gotta do is be black for us to back you? Do all you gotta do is be black?
There are plenty of black Republicans I have.
So I know Shannon has obviously not watched the show before. So Shannon, I'll call your name.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Nah, I'm bullshit. Go ahead. What you think? Do all you got to do is be black? Go ahead, Shannon. Do all you got to do is be black?
No. For people who are paying attention and actually care about who they're voting for, it's going to take more than that. Now, will we back you because that gives you maybe a step up in our minds, just like our Caucasian folk who want to vote for those who look like them? Sure, but you still got to have a record. I don't support many of the black Republicans I've run across because of their politics. So,
did you support Kamala?
I was indifferent. I was in a space when all that was going down, so I didn't really pay attention that much. But go ahead, sis. Come on, Soror.
Yeah, that's what I figured you was gonna say that. So okay, I'll reserve my opinion. Eddie, what you think? Do all you got to do is be black?
I would say absolutely, and it's based on the track record of gullibleness that you see consistently from Negroes in America when they posit some shiny Negro who's smiling when there's nothing to smile about. They have excess amount of record and they've kissed, the right amount of rings and have, polished the right amount of boots of white folks in their space. And then they come out of nowhere and the media does an exceptional job of telling Negroes, this is the next Negro you need to give a shit about, right? And we're like, yeah, like, let's cheer them on, right? We are big on degrees. We're big on background. So it's just like, oh, yeah, they went to such and such school and they work at this place. They make X amount of money. They have these connections. But we don't really know this Negro, right? Like Shannon just said, like, she doesn't have a trust for, black Republicans. That's a whole, different conversation. But it comes with that level of understanding that you shouldn't immediately trust a Negro that you don't know. We don't do this in any other aspect of life. Point blank period. If we're in the street or whatever, just like you have a like, yo, what do you want kind of barrier situation if you go into the supermarket or whatever. But when it comes to putting a Negro on CNN and they got on the suit and they're shiny and it's just like, oh yeah, I should trust this Negro because the lights are on him. But if you see that Negro at Safeway or something and it looks like, yo, you're looking a little sketchy. You're looking a little crazy, right? Even in the suit, it's just like, yo, you're gonna pause. But when it comes to politics, when they put these people in front of us, you know, the judge Katanji, for example, she's the most recent famous Negro that nobody actually knows. That's just like, yeah, we got to push her forward because she's a Negro and she's gonna have our best interests with a white husband. And it's like, you got to take a step back. You know, once you really begin to be critical about it and not be emotional about it, it's just like, hold on. This sister doesn't necessarily ever have a record of pushing things that are going to be beneficial for Black people, along with Kamala, along with Barry, along with the rest of them, on down the line. So.
Okay. Rhonda, do all you got to do, that's a big ass water bottle. Do all you got to do is be Black?
That's a layered question. And the reason why I say it's layered is because if we're looking at it from a micro perspective, it takes a lot in order for Black people to be able to, for quote unquote, get themselves out the barrel. And I think there's a lot of appropriated hate that happens within our community. And it's sort of like an initiation in order for individuals to make it through the rank and to ascend. So we're looking at Ketanji Brown, for example. I don't think we celebrated her just because she was Black. I think we looked at her intersected identity as a woman as well and said, this is the first time that we have a Black woman to represent Black women and be visible in that space. I do think once you get through those particular ranks, right, once you go through a hazing process, at that point, I think for many Black people, we assume that this individual is about us because we assume that other individuals have tested them, not really taking into account some of the negotiations that happen behind closed doors in which they sacrifice parts of their identity in order to ascend. So that's where I say it kind of goes back and forth between, it just depends on what level we're looking at it at.
But if you alluded to the crab in the barrel mentality, so why are we making these assumptions if we have a crab in barrel mentality that somebody was for us? That's like contrary, right?
So I don't think it's contrary. I think you can have more than one thing or more than two things to be true at the same time. I think there is a love that we have for ourselves. I think there's also appropriated hate, self-hate, that we've been conditioned. And I think that when it comes to naturally just trusting someone else who looks like us, I think, and maybe I'm just jumping out there, but I've seen examples of where individuals in our community will hold their hand out for a person that's opposite of our race in our community and go out and advocate for them. But when it's somebody within our community, we have 1,000,001 questions in order to be much more critical of them and their intention, because we're suspicious of what they are, what they represent, because they look like us. And there's psychology around the visibility piece, something that looks like you. If you don't have a high self-esteem or regard for who you are, you're not going to be able to look at anybody, especially somebody who looks like you, Black, and see their worth or value. It takes time. I think it takes being mindful. But I don't think that it's something that happens naturally for a lot of folks within America because of our history.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you for the clarification. B, do all you got to do is be Black?
When you say that, do you mean in terms of gaining support?
Well, if you look at how we've operated, right, especially with President Obama, I mean, we didn't know him from a can of paint, to what Eddie said, but he was Black.
Right. So with the question being posed as that, I would say yes. A lot of times what's going to happen is Black person's running for president, Black person's running for mayor, Black person's running for Supreme Court justice or whatever. We as society is going to see that, oh, they're Black, let's automatically jump on the wagon and vote for this person. So yes, I would say a lot of times just be Black and you'll garner the support from the Black community. However, I look at the person and not just the color. You know, prime example, Kamala Harris. When we look at her track record and who she's married to, it just makes me sit back and take a look at the situation. You know, you're a vice president, you were hard on Blacks when you were a prosecutor out of California. You made laws that, from what society said, hurted the Black community, but then you're married to a white guy. So it's kind of like, you know. But again, people are going to sit back and say she's first black president, first black vice president of America. You know, kudos to her. So you know, I have an issue with that.
Okay, Alex, what you think? All you got to do is be black.
I don't think all you have to do is be black, but I know for me, in certain positions, I know with the last presidential election, you know, I became more invested because, you know, Kamala Harris was a black woman. With what went on with Ketanji Brown, I was more invested because she was a black woman. So does that mean that they're automatically going to get my support? No, but I am going to want to pay attention a little bit more, and I'm going to want to learn more because there is someone on the platform who happens to, you know, who happens to look like me. But I'm also someone who's not really well versed in politics as I think as I should be. But I was happy for Kamala Harris because she was a black woman, because she was an HBCU grad, because, you know, she did have a Caribbean background. And then I was also happy for Ketanji Brown because she was the most qualified and she was a black woman. So, but to B's point, they both have white spouses. So then it's just kind of like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's interesting. But I don't think I don't think that, in my opinion, that doesn't disqualify them for
me. Okay. Adrian, all you got to do is be black.
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to politics, because I don't really care about politics. I feel like they all lying anyway. You don't know what they're going to do. So I'll vote for the black person. Yeah. I'm just not as invested into politics as everyone else. Because again, you don't know the people. Everybody who we vote in always promises us something and we never get it. So it's like they're all really puppets anyway. So I just vote for the black person.
So they're all puppets. So you said shit. They look like me. I might as well. So the superficial is what matters.
Might as well as a coin flip. I'm not about to do no digging and no research, wasting my time. Because again, I feel like they don't make no real decisions anyway. So what's the point? So it's literally a coin flip anyway. So I just picked the black person.
So we haven't gotten much. So isn't this a problem though?
I definitely think it is. But I feel like everybody also too has like their fight too. And this is not mine. So it's not my lane. I'm not about to be, like I said, I'm not into politics. I don't think I ever will be. I have no desire to be. So that's not my lane. I'll leave it up to those whose lane it is to address that issue.
Bro, this is the Supreme Court justice.
Bro, like I said, either way, that's not my lane.
But
y'all got to know our lane. I deal with.
But she has macro effects though. Like she can make decisions that affect everyone if they get to her.
So can a white person. Like, does it really matter? Like, you see what I'm saying? What's the difference between her and a white man having that same role? How it's gonna affect me? I feel like we've been affected the same way, no matter who's in there. We ain't never been given a fair shake, period.
But imagine what if she's so if we follow her blindly, imagine the damage she could do.
As one person?
As compared to a white man who we may be skeptical of.
How so? Because either way, we still don't got no say in what they decide to do.
So you're saying, regardless, you think she a pawn anyway?
Exactly. They all are.
It might as well be a black pawn.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not really vested in it, and I don't think I ever will be. To be honest, I let the people who are all for it, I'll support you. You know what I'm saying? Send me a little fundraiser link. You know what I mean? And I'll support whatever y'all trying to do that way. But that's not my fight, bro. I'm just saying.
Sis, what you think? All you gotta do is be black.
Yes, all you gotta do is be black.
That's it.
I mean, why not? We've been following white people These, we just been following white people. We have to go through different things as black people. Why not just be black? We could vote for black people without even knowing anything else. We do it all the time, day in and day out. We go to their grocery stores. We go to all their, whatever they're selling, we buy it. Why not just be black? Vote black. All black. That's it.
Wow.
Okay. I think the overarching point is we don't do enough research for anybody, right? But like Alex said, maybe we should, because I feel like we can be sheeple when we see our own people in office and in place. And under President Barack, I think we were worse off. What you think, Eddie?
I mean, again, with the illusion of choice, right? As a so-called, we presume that having a shiny Negro in front of us is the equivalent of having tangible things happen for us, right? Like the appointment of Supreme Court Justice, if you're not well read on it, like that's a massive, serious deal, right? Um, if it's not a collective of judges who are making decisions for whatever case that's going to affect Americans across the board, one judge in particular over one case can, have an effect where 20, 30 years down the line, we are dealing with whatever policy or judgment they hand down. So that's a big deal, right? And I get the point of having been the person who's most qualified, et cetera, and having to be a black person, having to be a black woman, right? We've had enough examples where, for me, that's not sufficient. That's not enough, right? And I ain't voted for nobody white either. So let me put that out there too. But it's more so just like, is this person qualified from the perspective of wanting to do for their people? But I think, as Rhonda is it, and Shani made great points in regards to there being a hazing period, right? That hazing period, being putting down your blackness. Got to do that in that high of a chamber. Making sure that you are further enhancing white supremacy as it is. Like, we're going to pay you exceedingly. You're going to be the face of white supremacy in this position. And I think lastly, I'll hand it off, is, you losing a large part of yourself, right? So if you are the incumbent for such a huge position and you take on that position, you got to know that it comes with all this. But for the uninitiated, right, the people who just watch the news and assume that's what it is, they're going to take it at face value. But there's so much dark shit happening in the background, and losing yourself is the biggest thing. But for us to assume that these people are going to have anything to do with forward progress for black people when they're in the high position of white supremacist institution, we're lying to ourselves.
Yeah,
no, I think that was a dope point. But but from my perspective, I don't even think voting really real, right? Like, how we know they really be counting up voting? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do they really count everybody vote, or do they already have who they picking? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we really know? Like, we don't really know.
It's going down a very deep rabbit hole.
I'm just saying we don't really know. And I'm a real tangible person. Like, if I can't really see, that's why I like dealing with like people and doing therapy, because I can see this. I can work with this. If I don't really have no control over nothing else, I'm not going to invest too much in it. So I definitely agree with you. I don't think she's about to really do nothing for black people, because I don't think she can. I don't think she has the power to. So I think if people are voting thinking that's gonna happen, I just think we just disagree there. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm gonna vote for her because she's black, or anybody because they black.
So what if
in?
Adrian, there were two candidates that were black?
I'll probably go with the black man. if I don't got one of those. So I'm gonna tell you this. I've only voted twice my whole life. You know, I don't vote, yo. That's not my thing.
a friend, and we out.